Hi everyone, I'm Pia, and I'm here today to show you how to build a divided Betta tank and also start a tank from the very beginning. So first of all, you need a tank. I have a 20 long here, and first we'll just clean it out real simple. I just use a damp paper towel and I'll wipe it down. Unless I find anything that's a greasy residue or something, I might use a little alcohol, rinse it again, and then the tank is ready to start working in. I have a gel pen. I have a silicone, 100% silicone to hook the dividers in. These are from report covers. These are bar binders. And then I have our tape measure to measure across the bottom, the top, and the back to have matching binders fit in there. And then later we will insert the dividing material. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, let's just start by wiping down the front of the tank. Okay, the sides, the top, the lip, work inside. Make sure there's a lot of dust that gets into these tanks when they're being handled in the stores or they're shipping. So they have plastic on them. Here's a little piece of tape I need to take off. So you're just going to wipe down your tank really well and then kind of dry it. Okay? And like I said, if you find any residual or greasy stuff, you can use a little alcohol on it. And you get that done. Then, now this tank, glass end to glass end, is exactly 30 inches long. This is an Aqueon 20 long. I don't want this external measurement where the rim is. I only want the glass measurement. So being that it's exactly 30 inches long, halfway would be right here at 15 inches. So I'm going to mark it at 15, and I use like a gel pen. It makes just a small mark and it'll wipe off. Then I can go over half of 30. What's half of 15 to 30 inches? Well, it's 7.5 inches. So we'll just count out inches. Here's 15, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is 7, so here is 7.5, and I will mark it again at 22.5 inches. And the same here at 7.5 inches, because I'm going to divide my tank into 4 sections. And to do that into 4 sections, you half the tank, then half that half section, and that'll give you quarters very evenly. It's just a simple way to do the mathematics. And now we'll get ready to insert the binders, the binder bars, and we'll silicone them into place, both in the front and the back. So you'll need to measure the front and the back. I'll do it at the bottom and again at the top. Turn the tank around, again at the bottom and at the top. Make your measurements and your marks so you can silicone in your binder bars. Okay, great. Now, since we've marked our tank, top and bottom, with our dimensions that we want to break the tank up into, we will have 4 individual sections on this 20 long for your Bettas to have 5 gallons each to enjoy. And that's plenty of room for one Betta, especially in a 20-gallon system. In other words, you're going to have bacteria load up to or above 20 gallons. So 4 fish in a 20-gallon bioload is wonderful. These fish are going to have very clean, pristine water that way, because I myself am going to be putting a small sponge filter in each section, and I'll continue with that after we finish this portion. So right now we have put in our first divider. Here's my mark at the top and bottom. All I did was put a drop of silicone on the top and the bottom of my binder, and then I put it into the tank, lined it up, and I use a small piece of Scotch tape just to hold it still so it doesn't get knocked out of place while you're working. The silicone will want to stick on its own, and it depends too the time of year and maybe the viscosity of it, depending on how warm it is or how cool it is when you're working with it. But the Bettas are not going to push on this hard enough to break it out. So just a dot at the top and a dot at the bottom, and I'll show you that on this one. Your silicone may be brand new, and you will have to use the little point that's here in the cap to break open this. This one I have used before, so I don't need to do it at this time. A lot of times you need to clean them off. They get a little gooey. You can rub most of it off with your fingers, or go ahead and use a paper towel to clean it away. So let's go ahead and get started with this one. This is going to be our center one. I'm just going to put a little bead here and a little bead here. Perfect. And then I'm going to come into the tank and I'm going to let it just touch the bottom and line it up, and then just push it in at the top. What's nice about using just these small dots of silicone is later, if you don't want to have a Betta tank set up divided like this, you don't have to. You can go ahead and easily remove the binder bars and use a razor blade, or just leave the silicone. It's not going to hurt it. That's what the whole tank is sealed with, 100% silicone, so you have no problem there. And you may find other uses for your divided tank. This could become a hospital tank for different fish, or that may be aggressive towards one another, so you never know. So you're not damaging this tank by doing this minor addition. This is not going to affect this tank in any way. And by the way, I bought this tank at the Petco $1 a gallon sale. I wait every year to go ahead and buy my tanks unless I find a really good deal on used ones, and then I always test them too. With a used tank, I try to test it right where I purchase it from, and I will leave it 2, 3, 4 days out in the yard with water in it. Now, I do live in Central Florida, so I don't have to worry about freezing. So we'll just line this up. Yeah, it's a little bit of a blob there. That's okay, no problem. We'll just neaten it up a little bit. You can do that with a razor blade also when this is finished. And then we can complete our final one here. Push this down a little more so you can see it a little bit better. And we'll just go ahead again, put just a dab on the end, and on this side also, just a dab. And find our marks here and at the top. There you go. Gee whiz, that one's off, isn't it? I didn't measure well on that. Great example of how not to do it. So let's take that out. Okay, my measuring stick must have slipped. Let me get my, this is great, because this is how you learn not how to do something. I'm good. This is good. And you can see when it's still wet, you can just wipe this off very, very easily. This is the same paper towel. See, it left a little smear. That's okay. We'll get it. We'll get that cleaned off so we don't ruin the view in our tank. And again, a razor blade can be used. If you're a young person doing this or working with your parent, please let your parent work with a razor blade. You can do all you want with the paper towels, but not with razor blades. So you get that wiped up. That looks good. I got a little cloudiness here, so okay, that's good. Got that cleared up. Okay, so let's remeasure this. And I need to get my measuring tape. Okay, well, there's an old adage. It says, measure twice, cut once. So that's what we should have I should have done. What happened was I marked this at 23.5 and not at 22.5. So now I'm going to go ahead and continue. I'm going to put my dab on. Little dab. There we go. put it in at the base, kind of push it in, and then line it up at the top. Now, that looks much better. I'm tickled about that. That looks good. So then we'll just cut a piece of tape, and we'll tape it, kind of put it on one side, and then push it in. And just line it up. There we go. So that's one side done, and one correction made. So we'll go ahead, turn it around, and finish the tank. Okay. So I finished putting in the binder bars on the front and the back of the tank, and I went ahead and added some extra Scotch tape to the ones that needed it. So now this needs to dry for at least 24 hours before you would be able to add, fish to the water, but we're not even there yet. So I'm going to let it dry for 24 hours, then we'll come back and add the dividers into each section. So thanks for watching. This is Pia, and please stay tuned. I'm going to be taking this tank from this point all the way to filling it with water, conditioning the sponges through the nitrate cycle. I'm going to use another large sponge from another aquarium to do that process. I'll show you how I hook up my pump and the reasons for using the different products that I've chosen for this build and this particular tank. So thank you so much. I'm Pia, and I look forward to sharing more videos with you. Take care, and bye for now.